Hey everybody, what's up? Ed the Pond Professor here. I'm coming to you today from Minnesota. I am here at SaveAFox Rescue Facility. Super excited about this. We just arrived. We're gonna go on in, we're gonna meet Mikayla, get a little tour of the facility, and figure out exactly how we're gonna design and build this brand new feature for the foxes. Oh, he's way up there. Oh my gosh.
Foxes do not do that. I'm really excited about this. Hi, Schizo.
All right, so here we are, Mikayla.
Hi.
It's been a couple months since we talked, I guess,
yeah.
when we started talking about doing a water feature out here. This is an unbelievable facility. Could you give us a little bit of a tour and kind of tell us your story about how all this started?
Welcome, this is SaveAFox Rescue. So we're starting up in Malachi and Skeeter's yard.
So what was this property before? I mean, this general
It was
farm
a chicken and turkey farm.
Oh, wow.
And it was a deer farm at one point,
Oh my
too.
God.
So a lot of these setups were kind of already here, which
Yeah.
were perfect. As soon as I had my eyes on this property and I saw like the buildings with the enclosures attached, I was like, I need that. She's one of our fur farm rescues.
Wow, beautiful.
Hey, want treats? So in captivity, they can live up to 15 years, and in the wild, it's only like 3 to 5. Archer and Duchess were rescued together, so they're kind of a bonded pair. And foxes actually mate for life for the most part. They're inseparable.
So a fox in nature, what would their range be? How far would they travel?
And for the red fox species, I've been told that it's up to like 50 miles,
Wow.
a 50-mile radius.
How many enclosures do you have?
We have 5 fox yards.
Okay.
We're always playing a game of like who can get along the best.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
They have been raised in captivity for over 50 generations. Foxes,
50 generations.
Yeah, a lot of these foxes here, like their color variations, those
Yeah.
colors don't exist in the wild.
Okay. So Mikayla, tell me a little bit about your background. How'd you get into saving foxes, and what was your background before all this?
So I found an orphan gray fox species when I was 15, and I bottle raised it and I fell in love with it. I knew from that point that I wanted to have a fox in my life at some point. I was in college for vet tech. I knew I was going to work with animals. I ended up adopting a fox while in college. The fox is a lot of work. I dropped out of college, ended up in the rescue world. I really didn't know there was a need for fox rescues, and at the time I started SaveAFox, I was the only specifically fox rescue in America that I could
Oh my gosh.
find anyways.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Exotic pet industry is huge. It's a lot bigger than people realize. That a lot of people buy animals without, having experience beforehand, and then they end up in a situation where they need to go to a sanctuary. And these pet foxes, they can't ever be released to the wild because they weren't wild to begin with.
How do you fund all of this? So you're a non-for-profit?
Social media, and the way I started SaveAFox, it was never my plan. I would post my fox on social media because I was just like, I loved him and he's my pet. That's how people started following me, and then recognizing kind of I have this passion with these animals.
Where can people donate for your cause?
SaveAFox.org, that's our website. So all of our donation links are on there, and have YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. We're everywhere. And Patreon. We're trying to keep up. No, the cat's on my head. This is Leo. Found all by himself in a ditch. And this is his favorite spot. I do chores and he just sits on my shoulder. So he's getting really good at balance. So this is the first fox yard we ever built, and this is our biggest one. So you'll notice that some of them are in cages and some of them aren't, and that's because we have like rotation, so all of the foxes get an opportunity to come out and play in the fox yard. Archie, this is a blind Arctic fox. That's Pan. Hey Pan, you want treats? So Pan has yard time today with Felix, the tree fox. So these two actually don't have names yet. We let our sponsors name the foxes, and these are the 2 newest residents here. So they came from a fur farm. So when we get new foxes that come to us, we put them in enclosures and we work like one-on-one with them, because before we can let them into the fox yard, we have to train them, because they all have to go back in their enclosures at night, and like learning that humans are nice and give food.
Wow, he's way up there.
So,
Oh my
foxes
gosh.
do not do that. So the red fox species are not known for climbing trees, but he has taught all the foxes in this yard that they can climb trees.
Unbelievable.
Hi, Schizo. So this is the fox and cat yard that's like a mixture of both foxes and cats together, because these are the foxes that came from like pet home situations where they grew up with cats. He's actually my smartest fox here. He knows a bunch of tricks.
Gosh, you can warm right up, isn't he?
5, spin, sit. You want to do your little jump trick? Jump. Good boy.
Mikayla, this piece over here, could we use this in waterfall construction at all?
For sure. It was given to us for enrichment for the foxes, actually.
I think we could use it underneath the berm where we're going to be our waterfall. We can do some stonework around it. We can create a really cool cave environment for them, or tunnel, I guess. All right, got to remember that one for tomorrow.
Mouse has actually been undergoing stem cell therapy.
Oh my gosh.
And she's the first fox from the research that we've made that has ever been documented. She has very weak genes. She has a hard time absorbing the nutrients that she needs to absorb. Oh, this is Kipper. This is our youngest fox right now. So he's not a mini, he's just a baby. Foxes are born in the spring and they're full grown by winter. Waverly, look at her.
Oh my gosh.
She's shy.
Totally tucked behind there.
And this actually goes into the house, so they have a kennel in the enclosure they go in at night, so they go through this tunnel when I call them in.
Nice. So after walking around your property, it sounds like this might be the best spot for us to do the water feature.
Yeah.
So as soon as we pulled up, this one I was kind of gravitated towards, because obviously it's kind of front and center. You have guests coming in for a tour and things like that, so it'll be highly visible. Yep. But the other thing was, I love this little slope here, and then we have this nice backdrop of the trees. We want to accentuate this mound a little bit. We would be digging the pond a little bit further down this way where it's kind of flatter, generating more soil, building that up. And we found that pipe that you have over in one of the other areas, build that into it as well, so they have kind of a little tunnel going through. I would like to have like a beach entry for our visitors. We're not going to have big boulders sticking up. They'll kind of look right in, but it will be also perfect for your animals because they could walk in very shallow water. They could make their way down into deeper water if they want to. We'll kind of embed some big boulders in there. These could be seat rocks for yourself, for your visitors, as well as for the animals themselves. I'm kind of thinking to kind of create something and mimic a little bit of a natural, like a riparian habitat, which is where foxes normally would go hunting for food, an opportunistic feeder, you know, just some really thick, fast moving water, little riffle zones, maybe a little pooling area in between. All of that will connect up into the main pond itself.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. I mean, what you said about the shallow them so they can, like, you know, integrate themselves into the water, that's exactly what they like to do, so
perfect.
That'd be perfect.
And I also see you actually have a little kiddie pool over here.
Yeah, so this is what they have now.
So I think we could do a little better. I think we can come up with something a little bit more unique. And because it's an intelligent animal, we want to stimulate that brain activity.
Yes.
You know, have them climbing around, searching and hunting. It's those natural instincts that we really want to take advantage of and let them be foxes.
Yeah, and enrichment is something we really strive for here too. That's why we give all the foxes so much space to be able to, you know, run around and play and dig. I'm really excited about this.
Awesome. I'm gonna go, I kind of have an idea here. I'll get a couple pictures. Tomorrow we're gonna arrive with all of our guys and construction's gonna start.
Cool.
All right.
Hey.
So I love doing just quick sketches of a job site because it helps you kind of conceptualize everything in your head, but also by getting it on paper initially. I mean, this is my initial gut reaction. Things will probably change a little bit tomorrow once we start building, and that's because we're working with natural stone and natural materials. We want to kind of blend everything in place, but I always want to have an idea to start with. This is my initial thoughts. I start out up on top up here where our biofalls is located. So here's that big existing tree. I want to kind of highlight that. We're going to tuck our biofalls in. We're going to probably bury it kind of low. We're just looking for kind of a little meandering type of a stream. So biofalls is going to cascade down a series of little pockets and pools into the main pond itself. The foxes, they're not necessarily a swimming animal. It's not like a river otter. It's not like a mink. They are found in riparian corridors. So they are found in areas where you're going to have where the water meets the land. So we definitely want to think about that. So I want to have a shallow area, like a beach type of an entry, where they could kind of walk into that shallow water going down into the deeper zones. We might have a deep pocket over here where the waterfall is located, but this I'm thinking is going to be pretty shallow. You know, starting out at 0, maybe going down to only 8 inches or so deep. I think our entire depth might only be 18 inches deep. I want to bring in some of the beautiful boulders that Nick picked out for us for this beautiful wall over here. We found a really cool piece of piping. I want to take a piece of that and I'm going to bury it inside of our berm. So that's going to be right over in here. We're going to have a little bit of an access point going into this tunnel, and then it will kind of pop out on the back side of the waterfall. So all this is going to cascade itself down. We're going to have our plumbing going around the outside edge. We'll have a skimmer inside, and that's because we want to kind of minimize their maintenance. I don't want them to mess with a pump down in the bottom of a pond. I want them to be able to have the pump located inside of a skimmer. That's going to also help us to capture leaf debris. I also noticed in some of the small kiddie pools and things that are around the property, they're going to have an abundance of hair in them as well. So we want to have a place for that to go to. So I love building for facilities like the SaveAFox Rescue because they pour so much of their time and energy and passion and resources and money into these facilities just to kind of protect these incredible animals. So this is a way that we can give back a little bit. We're going to bring our expertise together as kind of our community, the CAC group. We're going to come in, we're going to do something that's incredible. It's going to help Mikayla, it's going to help enrich the animals, and that's what it's all about. We want to create environments that mimic nature.